Just to know you're here to stay. I walk with faith, not with fear. Every step I know you're near. Through the doubt, through the rain, you're the calm inside the flame. Even when the night is long, your light leads me on. So I walk.
Welcome, everyone, to the Walk with Faith podcast with Molly Faith and my dear, beautiful friend, Vanessa. Hi, Vanessa Galley.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
I'm good. I'm
Good.
good.
It's always a pleasure to see you.
It's so nice to see you too. We've been chatting for like hours, which is
I know,
fantastic.
but I think it's good that we're doing this so much more frequent now. I actually like the frequency and consistency that we've been getting together. I think it helps me out so much more than you even know.
Me too. I know. And I adore you. So I love
Yeah.
our conversations. I feel like um, it's so interesting because like we're so energetically connected. Like you'll send me a message or you've like journaled something and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I'm going through that," or that's like the transformation I'm going through, you're going through it. And I feel like
Yeah.
we are on this massive level too.
And we're
Um,
so aligned. Like you will send me a message and I'm like, this is exactly what I wrote today, or this is exactly what I was
I
thinking
know.
today.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that because it is a time when I lean on people for different things now, and I'm starting to learn to lean on people for more probably than I ever have before. And so for me, being able to lean on someone from, I guess when I'm having those conscious moments or those spiritual
Right.
moments, I
Right.
it's good to have a person that's
Right.
there who kind of gets it and understands it. And if I need I wouldn't say validation, but I think if I need to feel seen in that moment, I think you
Right.
always give me that opportunity, and I'm glad that we can like provide that to each other.
Absolutely. I feel like there was a really beautiful moment where you messaged me and you were talking about intuition um, and following our guidance and our intuition. And I was able to validate that for you. And same with you giving that to me, along with all the knowledge that we're receiving, whether it's through study, but it's also different spiritual downloads that are coming through. So, yeah, thank you for being there for me too.
Yes, no problem. No
Yeah.
problem. The downloads have been so heavy, God, so heavy.
Hmm.
And I feel like normally I know I have my usual like routines throughout the week, and I know, okay, on this day I'm going to meditate for this amount of time. One, I've been meditating at different times during the day, which is also different for me. Um, And then the downloads will just become like some mornings
Right.
I'll say I dream. I will literally wake up out of my sleep and I'm like, I need to get to my journal immediately because I need to write all of this down.
Right.
And I keep saying it and repeating in my head because I'm like, I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget. But when it comes time to integrate it later, I always like to have all of that information available for when I do need to process it and connect all the dots with everything that's been coming in lately, which
I
has
have
been
a
a lot.
I have a question for you because
Mhm.
this has been happening for me. So I don't know if it's going to resonate for other people, but it may. So there was the longest time where I didn't remember my dreams.
Oh, yes,
I
yes, yes.
would get, yeah, I would get the downloads, which I still do, obviously, like during the day and stuff like that. But what has been happening on a regular basis, I would say for the last 5 months
Mhm.
is very vivid, vivid dreams, maybe even 6 months.
Same.
And yeah, and it's like recalling them like just so clearly. Like I can see what's going on. And my guides, my guardian angels and my guides are showing up so heavily in my
Mhm.
dream state. So like our spiritual team will show themselves too
Yeah.
in some form. It maybe not like in physical form, but like with messages or representations or things that feel
Mhm.
like our ancestors or
It
our
resonate.
guides.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's been happening a lot too.
Yeah, I've been dreaming. It's not often that I don't dream. I'm pretty much always a dreamer, but like you said, they've been so vivid. And something that I've always found interesting is that when you're having that dream, one, it feels like forever, but like I can wake up and go to the bathroom and just pop right back into the
Into your
dream.
dream.
It's almost like I never even exited the dream state. Like, but somehow I got up into the bathroom and was like
Yeah.
right back in, like just locked
Right.
and loaded. Like as soon as your head hits the pillow, it's like back in
You're back
wherever we
in it.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's amazing.
And
Yeah.
then in those, I feel like in those though, those are the ones when I wake up the next morning, I feel strangely refreshed. So I'm like, what type of sleep was that? But I also know I listen to a lot of frequencies.
Hmm.
I mean, I pretty much listen to free now at this point, I probably listen to frequencies 24/7.
Hmm.
But at night specifically to kind of calm me and ground me before I do go to sleep. Because I find that it helps me kind of drift into sleep a little bit easier.
Absolutely.
Um, my mind's not all over the place. I'm not thinking about, but I have a very good, I'm good now about my wind down routine. So now that I have that kind of mapped out, sleep has been so much better. I sleep so much longer than I probably ever have before. But on those days when I do feel like I'm just dreaming forever, I wake up the next day refreshed, like
Hmm.
never before. So I'm not exactly sure what that's about.
Yeah. For me, it's been like I wake up and I feel like I have so much more knowledge.
Mhm.
Then I have to decode it and put the pieces together. But I have been, especially since the new year too, I feel like the dream, it's almost like that's so interesting you said that right now. Like getting up to go to the bathroom and popping right back into that dream. I feel like a dream that I would have had the night before will continue the next night sometimes, or just
Mhm.
more knowledge on it. So, and I'm
Where you see
definitely
that the
sleeping
dreams are
more.
connected.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have guessed that that would have been connected to
that's
that or to
right.
that. Hmm.
Right.
Now I do, this is gonna, I don't know if this is gonna sound strange. I I've always been an empath. But when I was a very young girl, I used to feel energy to people like that I would see, like people on TV, for example.
Okay.
Almost felt like I knew them. I knew them in a past life. And even when I was a kid, right, you would hear people say, "Oh, you must have known them in a past life,
In a past life.
in a
Right.
past life." And I was a child. I didn't know what in a past life meant, right? Or maybe I did, and I just didn't know. Who knows? But lately, those types of dreams have been happening more and more lately when I feel like I'm seeing people who I don't know, but they're in my dreams, but I know them, but it's not, I say it's not from this life. I don't know if it's happened yet, but the energy resonates so strong to where
Mhm.
like certain things happen with some people, I will feel
Mhm.
it um like physically when things happen to people.
Yeah.
I've never quite, and to be honest, if I'm being honest, I don't think I've ever actually like looked into that or thought about that. But now that I'm saying it, I guess it must have some meaning because I think most of the times I have those dreams and I just forget about them. Um, so I guess we'll see what comes of that. But
Yeah.
it's very interesting to me.
It sounds like a new gift,
Yeah.
a new ability that's coming forward so that way you can utilize it at some point
Mhm.
to, I mean, when we help other, like not just to help others, but to help yourself on this
Mhm.
journey, that's so crazy. Yeah, because you can go into the astral and
Mhm.
you can manifest or work on your gifts.
Mhm.
You can manifest things. You can get more abilities. And so if you're starting to feel like I'm getting like the word enhanced,
Right.
like
Right.
an
Right. Right.
enhancement in things like, yeah, you're developing more. And so this is like a new blessing, a new gift that's coming into your life. I think that's incredible.
It teaches me a lot about choice because I remember a couple years ago, I used to feel certain energies and I'd be like, oh, I wonder if I'm meant to work with that person, or I wonder if I'm meant to
Just
work
start.
with that person, right? But then I realized that every choice is a decision. Almost every choice is kind of like a crossroads where you're going to go here, you're going to go there, right? Um,
That's right.
I think sometimes we don't necessarily understand the weight of our choices that we make. And so even if maybe like, let's say 3 years ago, I'd be like, oh yeah, I feel like I'm going to work with this person or that person. And then let's say that didn't happen. I wouldn't necessarily be worried about it, but I'm like, ah, well, these are the choices that I've made that would probably tell me that I wouldn't work with that person. But also, as you talk about like gifts enhancing, I'm like, of course, I probably would not have worked with that person,
Right.
those set of gifts, because it probably would have, a different set of gifts would have probably been needed. So nothing's out of the question at this point. It's just all in divine timing.
It is. Everything
Mhm.
is happening exactly the way it's supposed to. So what's interesting, what I got from that too, was that empath, like you've always been an empath, but those feelings, the gifts that you're developing, what I said was, it's not just to help others, but it's to help yourself. So knowing when is the right time
Mhm.
or discerning when is the right time to use the specific gift with the specific energies at the right time in divine timing. So it's like maybe at that time, yeah, those gifts were, but maybe now.
Right.
But also knowing discernment is huge, boundaries are huge. So you not working with whoever that was at that time, that was in alignment for you.
Right.
Same with now. I feel like that's a huge thing right now is those being able to discern and boundaries and what feels in alignment and what does not. Our
Mhm.
empathic abilities or that intuition, we cannot ignore that. That is
Mhm.
so massive because
Mhm.
that will, the crossroads right there, which way are we going to go? Um, and just because you decide, okay, well, maybe this isn't the person that I'm supposed to work with at this time, there's always a reason because your intuition is telling you, or you're at that urge, that gut, whatever that is, that's your guides, your higher self. Which way are you going to go? And then how do we decide? And we can still do it with, integrity with love, but maybe we're not in alignment with that particular energy or person, whatever it is. Yeah.
Mhm.
So those abilities are beautiful. It's going to help you and others.
Yeah.
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 Remember when I was a young girl, I was in, gosh, how old? I must have been maybe in like kindergarten because I
Okay.
want to say there was like a student of the year thing. Why they would have had a student of the year something for kindergarten, I don't know. But what I do know is that when I went to school, I didn't have the same experience like traditionally when I started school. I'm gonna send this message real quick. Um, I didn't have the same experience as other kids when I went to school. So when I started elementary school, I could already like read, write. I was like writing in cursive. I could already do
Wow.
like arithmetic. I could already do multiplication, division. I was already reading like novels. So my older sister, was in a 12th grade when I was in kindergarten. So if she had books at home, I'm like, okay, I'm going to read her books. So when I got to kindergarten, it was like a culture shock of sorts because
Right.
I'm in class with people and I was like not on their level. So I remember I used to talk a lot. Naturally, I was like a talker. And basically, I don't know who decided it, but they moved me from like one kindergarten class to like, I guess, the more rigorous kindergarten class. But even the more rigorous kindergarten class, like there was
Yeah.
nothing to be done. So I used to literally sit at the computer. There's one computer in the class. I used to sit at the computer and I used to just browse encyclopedia or whatever games or whatever there was. So at a certain point, I had like tapped out of that. So they were like, okay, well, when you come to class, you can go to the library. So I remember I was going to the library one day and there was a teacher and I saw her in the office and gosh, my heart is so heavy. She was sitting in like a little, you go into the like I guess like the big main office, and there's like little, I don't know, like a little office inside of like the big office. So
Right.
she's in the office and she's crying, and I remember standing there watching her cry, And I don't know what happened to her that day, but something happened to her that day. And I remember that when I watched that happen, whatever that was, I felt it so deep
Lee.
in my soul.
Right.
And I think that was probably the first time that I could probably always feel, but I think that was the first time that I was ever cognizant of the fact that I could like feel what people feel.
Yeah.
And I remember what that felt like. And I mean, I've never talked to her because believe it or not, this was at an entirely different school. This was at my elementary. Believe it or not, she was actually my teacher in high school.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, but I never brought this up to her. Um, I still remembered it. I always remembered it. And she taught me for many years. Um, but I never brought it up. One, because I didn't necessarily feel like it was my business, but I think that what it showed me then was just the way that I felt and experienced the world was so different
Yeah.
than like everyone around me. And that I already probably felt like I didn't experience school like everyone around me.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like on my own doing whatever, right? On a great day when I could like grade papers, those were like the best days of my life. Whenever we had to cut out those little like laminations or whatever, whenever they get those, I'm
Uh-huh.
like, oh yes, this is like my day. Because there was nothing for me to do, unfortunately. Um, I just remember seeing that and I remember how it made me feel knowing that I felt that way about people. And I don't want to say the weight, but it's like I never escaped that feeling of like feeling what people feel.
Yeah.
I've never been able to escape that. And I always felt like it was so weird, really until I got into medicine. But then I realized that that was what made me, um, I guess what I would consider like a great doctor, right? Because when people talk to me, I can feel beyond like the words that they're telling me. I could really feel
Exactly.
what they're feeling. And so now it's interesting because as I'm not in clinical practice anymore and I've transitioned to something different, the energy feels different. I've also learned how to control that kind of like looking into people. I've learned how to control that a lot.
Right. That's huge.
And so I don't go out into the world like willy-nilly, right? Just like looking. But
Right.
how I know, and I guess how I know that is that there's still some people when I look at them, I still get that feeling whether I want to or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be really interesting to see how that manifests or how that like comes about. And it'll be interesting because I know this is something we're gonna talk about, like if or when this does happen. Um, I think it'll be interesting
Yeah.
to see.
And I understand what you're saying about that feeling. Um, and I think that's why I'm in hermit so much and I stay to myself because you do like you've learned how to pull back so you just don't go out and feel everything because you can. We're like these sponges. And so I try to stay in my energy too. I understand that feeling because I can feel so deeply. Like I'll be doing readings, Vanessa, and I will literally feel like, oh my gosh, I did a reading for somebody. And what came through was I believe it was like a deceased male figure.
Mhm.
And I could like feel heart pain in the
Mhm.
heart when I was doing it. Even though I say my prayers, even though I stay cleansed, like when you're channeling and doing it, if it needs to
You
come
can't,
through,
and it's
yeah,
also intuition, right? There's
yeah,
intuition, I think, that's so deeply rooted into all of us.
exactly.
And so you don't really have you don't have control over that. Whether you
No,
actually know what the message is or not, you don't hold much control over that.
no. And
That's
we're
what
supposed
I've
to deliver.
learned.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, being able to like stay in your energy, cleanse and clear, but having those gifts and abilities, and everyone has gifts and abilities. They could
Mhm.
learn to develop them and get in tune with them. Um, but it can be a lot to feel all of that, but that's a beautiful gift to have. You can help so many people feeling
And
so
now,
deeply. Wow.
now it's so funny you say that. Because now, like, I try to stay connected to outside as much as I can now. So if I even feel like, let's say I have a conversation and I'm like, I need to go outside and ground right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving that energy back. I'm like
Of
giving it
course.
away. Somebody else take it because I don't actually want it. I'm not keeping it with me.
Mother Earth will transmute that
Mhm.
energy.
And so it
Yeah.
forces me outside, which forces me in the sun, which I think is like really good for us as people. So you see that it's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
Even on days when it rains, I'm like, well, we're gonna have to figure this out. I guess we're gonna
Love
be
the
outside in the
rain.
rain. We're gonna be outside in the rain. Yes, on
Yeah.
under the porch, just like
It's so
outside in the rain.
cleansing. It's
Yes,
so
yes,
cleansing and beautiful.
yes.
They
Because I think
say,
I get a lot of my messages and my downloads in the water.
of course,
Oh my gosh! So in the shower,
that
oh, I
with
can
the
just be there. I
conduit.
can be in there, just in like, uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Or
absolutely.
I have to keep journals. I always keep a journal. Like literally always have a
Yeah,
journal.
you do. Yeah.
I literally keep paper and pen now. Like I have little notebooks and even I have little small
I
notebooks.
love
I have
that.
some in the bathroom because I'm like, if something comes to me, it just has because I don't want to miss the message when it comes because I don't always know what they're for.
Water is such a powerful force to receive downloads and messages and to enhance our psychic abilities. We will get visions. People, oh my gosh, what is the term for it? My gosh, remote view. People can remote view in the water.
Mm-hmm.
But you can absolutely get visions. I have gotten some of the most incredible visions, like um, of my different dragons, like they've come to me like in visions of different colors that they are, and I'm like, I didn't know I had that. I've seen visions of what looks like Lumeria
No, which I love. I love.
and like a being who was like trying to give me knowledge, but I couldn't take all the knowledge in at that time. It wasn't full. It wasn't, I couldn't decode it at the moment. So when I know, and see, that's where divine timing comes in. People, hopefully this helps like the people watching who want to develop their gifts and their abilities. And for anybody, it's like we want that clarity, we want that knowledge, we want to develop, but it's like it's all really going to be in divine timing, and you're going to get like these bits and pieces. And that's how it works. It's
Write
like
a
bits and
journal.
pieces.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
And the
my
journal is
journal.
huge.
Mhm.
Exactly. And then you can connect the dots and put the piece because you'll put notes together from like years prior readings or whatever it may be.
So
Download.
all of my journal, I haven't done it yet with this one, but usually when I finish a journal, like you'll see, like I'll write in it and then I'll have like the
Yeah.
different colors on the page and stuff. And then once I'm done with the journal, before I actually close it out, I go in and then label it with like little tabs on the side.
Right.
And so if one day I get a message, and I'll usually label the outside, like the spine also. So then when I get a message, I'm like, okay, I need this date, this date, this date, this message, this message, this message. And I'll go pull all those journals. And then what it shows me is that I've done that
Mhm.
recently where I've had messages from like 5 years ago that I go back to.
Exactly.
Oh, oh,
Right. And then it shows a pattern too.
yeah.
And
Y'all were
things
trying to get
that,
my attention this whole time.
no, I know.
We're trying to.
That's what I
Yeah.
just tell you. I just went back on that reading. That was from 2022, and I'm going, oh my gosh, but we see it from like a different perspective. It's like,
Mhm.
that's what that meant? Oh, okay. I get it. And what's
And
so
it's
great
so beautiful
happens
because you
now.
see your growth. I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm so stubborn. Gosh, am I stubborn?
that is so funny you're saying
I'm
that.
so stubborn. I'm like, oh, y'all were telling me that this whole time, weren't you?
That's right. But we weren't ready to receive
But I
it.
wasn't ready to receive it. That's it. It's all like literally divine timing.
Hmm.
Because
Absolutely.
now I process things at ultralight speed, but even in that, I still fall short.
Hmm.
So there are still things that will, and that's the beauty. I think that's just the beauty of living. It's that every day I get to wake up and go through this like alchemical process.
Hmm.
It could be a small change. It could be change, I don't even know. Changes in my subconscious, which I don't know. Like I don't even know the amount of change that's happening in me. And I think that's beautiful. But
Mm-hmm.
I do know that every day I kind of wake up with that blank slate. And I do it purposely to wake up with a blank slate because I don't want to bring the past into my present.
Exactly.
I also don't want to like forward think too much that I'm not being present.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
So I'm like learning the lessons, integrating, moving forward. I do like this grounding thing before I go to sleep at night. I try to balance my chakras before I go to sleep at night. I try to be as good and as kind to my body as I can. Um, because really this is my body is all I have to support me as I'm going through all of this. And I try not to stay in my mind because I
Mm-hmm.
realize that I'm not supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be here in my body. My
Mm-hmm.
mind doesn't do my intuiting. It does not do that. My body does.
Right.
And I have to learn that lesson. So a lot of times I'll stay up here and that's not where I need to
No,
be.
we need to be here.
Even if I hermit here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I love being comfortable. I love
Yeah.
all of the freedom that just comes with reintegrating back into the self, like relearning myself and just becoming me again. I love everything that comes from that, even though it's pain, it's extremely painful. And
Oh, yeah.
it's not good to look yourself in the mirror and say, oh, look at who I've been.
No,
But look
exactly.
at who I am no longer.
No, and that's really important. I feel like
Mhm.
that's part of the transformation. And it's just the layers that we peel back, you know? Like we were talking about the new year. And
Mhm.
yes, the new year, I believe it is April that it should start, but I feel like what you're saying is the rebirth every day. I'm going to say new year every day for
Mhm.
some reason. But um, there's been like a lot that's come up, even just since the first
Mhm.
for me, where I've had to look at myself and like, okay, well, what do I need to work on? Because how is my internal world like? How I need to set you made such a valid point, Vanessa, with setting boundaries. It's really because our internal world is a reflection of our external. So how am I setting boundaries with myself?
Right, 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 right.
And I have started doing that where I had to start with self. And
It's
that's
uncomfortable.
hard and
It's
it's
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable, but it's necessary.
Because sometimes I want to fall back into because I think I've always lived with this like infinite battery that I can just go and go and go and do. I'm like, no,
Mm-mm.
you said this time. It is this time.
Well, and we're both projectors.
Mhm.
So as a projector, we only have so much gas, so much energy.
Literally, literally. So I've
We
been reading
can't.
into Taoism and about the what is it called? I saw something the other day. I read it, and gosh, I was supposed to write it down because I was supposed to tell you it, but it was about the basically like the art of doing nothing
Hmm. That's
and just how
actually
important that is. Yeah.
that's actually a beautiful divine feminine. It's
Mhm.
kind of crazy the way I'm thinking of that because we birth things, but it's when you're in a state of nothing, you're receiving everything.
And that's the thing. I think we turn it off, and I'm like, no. What I do is I just dampen all of this and everything around me, so I can actually hear.
Hmm. Well,
Um,
because when you're so busy moving, doing, you can't
mhm.
hear. And then you're actually in your masculine energy. So when you're in like the doing nothing, that's so beautiful.
Mhm.
You make me want to I'm going to get in a bath after this and I'm
Oh,
going
I
to
love
turn down the
that.
lights,
I
light
love
the
a bath.
candles.
I love a bath. Yes, yes. Just
See, but
truly nothing. Like sometimes once I'm done with my work and I'm like, well, what's next? I always want to go down the list and I'm like, actually, I just don't want to do anything. I don't actually. So I'm going to give myself a couple hours to and I'm not saying scrolling because even that's something I don't
oh, yeah,
want to do anything. But I don't want to meditate. I don't want to because sometimes I always think like, well, if I'm not doing something, I need to be doing something else. No,
right. No, you don't have to. Because even a bath, yeah, you're taking the steps to make the choice to do that. But people think meditation, well, you could just be at peace in
Mhm.
that bath or just doing nothing in the quiet.
Because
Sometimes,
meditation is no different than doing that work that
ex-
I'm doing. It's just from a
exactly,
different space. Yeah.
exactly. And sometimes that's the best meditation is just that peaceful moment
Mhm.
where you'll get those messages. Some people feel that like in order to meditate, you have to force it and like be still and do all of this to meditate to, no, sometimes it's just
Sometimes I just
doing
close my eyes.
nothing. It's
Yeah.
just closing your eyes and just quieting yourself,
I always
being
try
at
to
peace.
center.
Yeah,
I always try to see that wherever that light is in me, I always just try to bring myself all the way back in. And if I can go there even for a second, that's worth it. Like that second, and sometimes that second is really all you need to really pull yourself out of all of this external and outward energy and just bring yourself back in.
right.
Just come back home
And
and
not
then
in the
go out
mind, but in the
there.
heart.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah, because once you leave the external noise, then we have to I feel like this is a really good step. Yeah, and then to remove yourself from the noise of the mind
oh yeah, because that is
back into
I
the
don't
heart space.
I
Yeah.
don't want it. It's so funny. Because for
Exactly.
a certain time in my life, I think being a doctor and being a scholar, I was like, oh my thoughts, those thoughts, you get so lost in those thoughts that
Hmm.
so I don't want to quote Gucci Man, but he always talks about not getting lost in the sauce. And that's how I feel. Like I feel like sometimes I get so lost in my thoughts, and then you realize that that's not true to you.
Right.
A lot of times those thoughts are things external. Those thoughts are projection. Those
Of
thoughts,
course.
they can come from a myriad of places. And so now I've had to more align with my heart.
Right.
I'm like, that's my happy place.
Good. We have to go back to the feeling of things
Because
like,
then I'm like, oh, how do I feel? Do I feel loved? Am I loving myself enough? Am I loving on myself enough?
that's a really big deal.
It is.
That's where boundaries come in too. We have to
Mhm.
place boundaries on ourselves too, because that's
Mhm.
a form of self-love.
Mhm. Because if I'm not loving, if I don't feel loved by myself, I'm out here unconsciously seeking love outside of me. I don't want to move in the world that way anymore.
No,
No, no. So I'm like, let me just
no. Yeah.
come back to me, no matter how long it takes. It doesn't actually take long. Once you're in that process of actually noticing it and seeing it and feeling it, it doesn't take long. I'm like, no, just come back home. Chill, take a couple minutes. People are understand. There's nothing that is more important outside of you that is that life or death. For you
Mm-mm.
to sit back, bring yourself to center, take a deep breath, realign, then move forward, make
Absolutely.
whatever choice or whatever it is, right? I think it's always the path coming back in.
Absolutely.
Like the energy comes,
We are
the
our most
communication and it comes
important.
back in, right?
We are our most important. Why am I hearing project,
Mhm,
mission?
mhm,
We are
mhm,
coming back to the love within the self. We don't search for it. I have that picture. It's not here right now, but it's happiness blooms from within. It's not outside of us. It's inside.
mhm.
We have to come back to that self.
And I think that that is so important. Navigating life is not easy.
No.
We don't really get manuals or guides as we see, right? You don't get a guide that says like, hey, here's how to do this life thing. You know why? Because you are you and I am me.
Hmm.
My guide doesn't work on you and your guide doesn't work on me.
Exactly.
That and it is that is so much in one in those words. That was more than one word, but there's so much in those words. My guidebook, the Vanessa guidebook, does not work on Molly.
Exactly.
And the Molly guidebook doesn't work on me.
That's right.
we have to, as people realize and understand that what works for the masses may not always work for you. And that is okay. And I think that people need to be able to, that is like self-validation, understanding that you are so unique. You are so, you are so rare. You are so you that no matter what I tell you, we can be in alignment and we can feel each other's energy and we can have like a reciprocal relationship that plays on that. But if for 1 second you say, oh, well, Vanessa's telling me something and it's not really aligning, you have that choice to say, you know what, I think I'm just going to stay here in my energy. I'm going to go inward. And
Yeah.
I don't have to take a play out of your playbook because I'm Molly.
Mm-hmm.
That,
Absolutely.
that is vital
Yeah.
now more than ever.
Huge.
Hmm. Hmm. Because we're all walking out into the world. And if I'm being honest, we're all taking like all those masks that we had. We talk about layers. As those layers were coming off, all the masks were coming off. I remember it's the mask. I used to be obsessed with the mask. I love movies, by the way. I love movies. I love cinema. I love TV. Used to be the mask, the mini face god on Game of Thrones, switching faces.
Right.
I can't do that. I can't do
No,
that.
I can't either. I
I
can't.
can't.
That is definitely not in alignment with this new path
Mm-mm.
at all.
No,
And that's a good thing because we are unique. It's our experience. It's our journey here. That can be really hard for people
it
to
is.
remove that and feel that, oh gosh, that vulnerability
Mhm.
of just being themselves.
Mhm.
And when they do that, though, the freedom that comes with it, now we have to start over every day and work on that. It's not like we just, I mean, maybe for some people, it's not like wake up one day and be like, I'm my authentic self and I'm going to be courageous and brave and do it every day. We have
Mhm.
to set the intention and be
Mhm.
like,
I
okay.
think at that point, that's probably like the mask coming off, and now you're like a method actor.
It's like, I can do
Then the
this.
masks are gone, but then you're like performing.
Right. It's like, no, you can be yourself
Mhm.
every day. How do you feel today?
Mhm.
Maybe, you want to be silly one day because that's truly what you're feeling within yourself. But that's we're multifaceted.
Mhm.
It's okay. We have a wide range of emotions. We don't have to be zombies. We don't have to be one way or this way or that way. It's like remembering that you can just be who you are every day when you wake up, what feels good for you, and having the courage to do it
And
without
really,
the outside validation.
because I think that's an important part of what, like literally, the outside validation.
Right.
It is not easy to unmask because for a lot of times, like I always think about this. When I was in school, I studied Michelangelo, and they spoke about when he was on he used to go up into the scaffolds and he would go and lay there for so long to paint on top of the ceilings of the
Wow.
Sistine Chapel. And when he used to take his shirt off and when he used to take his boots off, like his skin would slough off
Okay.
because he would be up there painting and doing his art for so long that he was in the clothes and the boots for so long that his skin would slough off.
Right.
I think that when we wear our masks, if we wear them for so long, they're probably like attached pretty hard. And so
Yeah.
we take them off, the skin does come off, and it's not a it's not a pleasant process. The
No.
skin comes off, and then you're looking in the mirror like, who is this? This is not who I don't know her. I don't know this person. Who is this Vanessa? Who is this?
Right.
I don't know. Ollie, who is she?
Right.
And a lot of times, because if you had to think when was maybe the last time we didn't have to mask was probably in childhood. And I don't look like little Vanessa. I mean, I'm her, but I don't think when she looked in the mirror, she was looking at me, and I don't think vice versa, right? And so that is a very unnerving process.
Hmm.
But I think that what we do realize, and this is the work go inward, right? So if we look back at like little Vanessa and little Molly or little masculine or little feminine, whoever it is, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of going inward because we start that self-integration process
Mhm.
and say, like, I know I'm her and I know she's me. I'm going to now do the work, the inward work,
Mhm.
because that work can't be done outward, right? That's on the other, the outward world is on the other side of that mask. We have to go in to do the
Mhm.
work and to integrate the self, all aspects, the shadow self. We have to integrate all of that, right? To now come out to be who we truly are. And I think it's important to note that when you do come out and you show people who you are, they don't have to like it.
They don't have to, and not everybody is going to.
They don't
And
have to.
no,
And it is not your job to make people like the authentic you. It is not your job
what
to
that
make
was. Did you hear
people.
that?
Yeah, that was my computer. That was
Oh,
like
okay.
confirmation
Oh,
probably.
it was.
Right? It is like not your job to make people
No,
resonate with it.
no. It's so interesting that you're bringing that up right now because I had this conversation. Our guides talk so much with my son. I think it was 2 nights ago, and it's not every, you could be perfect. You could try to be perfect. Not everyone's gonna like you. You could have a clean house, a messy house. Someone's gonna find fault with something.
Mhm.
You cannot, it's not our job. It's our job to be us. It's our job to be who we are. It's part of the job. But we cannot control other people. And if they're gonna like us as our authentic selves, and they don't have to, and that's okay. But it
Yeah.
was a conversation I literally just had with my son a couple days
And
ago.
it takes me to what we spoke about earlier, minding our business. Because I think the more and more you become your authentic self and you're really showing up in the world truly who you are your business.
Thank
And
you.
you mind you,
Yep.
and I'll mind me. And if those paths align, beautiful. And if they don't,
Then
so
beautiful. Yeah. And that's oh my gosh, absolutely. So like I go online, I post my videos and I want to hold space and be there and do what I do and I love everyone. Or whether I'm doing like personals or if I have to post something online, but once I'm done with that, I am my business. I am not out there and business out there, and I'm not in your business there. I'm in my energy. I am literally here
you're the
in my
point right
business.
there. Yeah.
I
But
don't know what's going on.
it's not common. I mean, because what do you
Really?
mean you're not worried about me?
See, and that's so weird for me because yeah,
No, I'm not
because I
actually.
don't I don't want to get in people's business. Like
Mm-mm.
when I do the collective
You know
reads, I
why? If I'm
always
being
want to.
honest, there's a lot of reasons why I cannot be in people's business.
Right, Vanessa.
But the most important reason,
No,
because I have no energy.
no, I don't
Because
have the
being
energy.
my true authentic self actually takes a lot of energy. It takes, because I think it's a constant transformational process. And that
Absolutely.
transformation, once you see the value that comes from actually being your authentic self, you realize that transformation never stops.
Hmm.
This is the E equals MC squared. That energy is always moving.
Hmm.
It does not stop. There's no time to be stagnant, even in rest. There's no time to be stagnant. And so that actually,
It's energy.
it's energy.
Yeah, I don't have the energy
And
either.
so what I also don't have is the energy to waste, the energy to give, the energy to put out, the energy to, I don't have that. This is like a conservation of energy type space over here.
Energy is currency.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm. And so I can rest because I do value conservation of energy. That's how I can rest amongst the transformation.
absolutely. I agree with that completely. And that's why being in your own energy can be so powerful, but you have the energy to go through those transformations. Yeah, not everybody understands that. And I feel like, but it's not our job to make them understand either. Because it can be triggering for people. Like, why aren't they worried and concerned and like do it? It's not because we don't care, we don't love. Of course we do, but we're going through our own transformation so that way we can make the differences that we need to make within our own soul's journey
Right.
and be able to assist other people. So,
And I
yeah,
think one thing that I've learned in this process is that, and I tell you this a lot, I think being a doctor gives me a very unique perspective on people.
mhm,
But then I think being an intuitive gives me like another layer of perspective that not everyone sees. And I was
absolutely.
kind of explaining this to someone the other day that I can see you, but then I also see you,
I love that.
right? So privilege, not privilege, I don't know. It, I don't know, right? But I sometimes have the very unique privilege of seeing people, which means that all the masks, like I go beyond the mask, like I see people.
Right.
And um, the thing that I absolutely see the most in people is potential, right? The potential, and this came to me, and I could read this to you because it came to me in a message the other day. When I told you I woke up out of my sleep channeling, this was what I wrote down. And I don't know. I know I changed my pen so it would be in small handwriting because that's so crazy. I changed my pens and any and everybody has the ability to be any and everything.
That's right. That's
And I wrote any and everybody has the ability to do any and everything.
right.
And I think that when I see people and I understand that they have that much potential, really being myself and being authentic, I realize that like that is so much of my work because I want people to see that you too
Can do it.
can do it.
That's
You
right.
too can be authentic. You too can say, I don't want these masks. I want to go out
That's
in the
the
world.
embodiment. That's
Yes.
the embodiment.
Mhm.
It's
I want you to know, yes, is it sometimes a
beautiful.
gruesome process? Yes, it is.
It is gruesome. Yeah. Oh,
But it can be done because we all have the potential. And I think so, I sometimes used to think it used to like shoot me in the foot when I was a doctor because I'd be like, well, you can do this or you can do this. A lot of times you realize, Molly, some people have never been told they can do something
no,
before.
that's so true. The people are so conditioned and so used to hearing what they can't do. It's poison. It's they're saying the negative, what is not possible. You can't do that. You're not. No,
I
you
told a lady once, like,
actually
you
can.
can control
You
your
can.
diabetes. She had no idea. Like,
Can do
it
it.
was so trans when she told me that, she's like, well, no one's ever told me that before. I'm like, what do you mean no one's ever
Yeah.
told you before? And then I had to realize, like, oh, people aren't, oh, it was like the light bulb, right? The light bulb goes off. And then I had to realize, like, you got to dial it back, sis. You got to go all the way to the basics with
That's right.
people.
That's right.
Shoot myself in the foot again because then once I go all the way back to the basics, then I'm there doing work that I realize this is not medicine. This is inner work. These two, this is not the place for this and this is not the place for that. And you struggle and you riff. You come to that rift of like, can I keep doing this knowing that this is what I'm meant to be doing? And so I think even as I had to look at my path, I couldn't come into the world and be my true self and like share this with people until I really did the inner work. Like I had to heal myself
We have
before I
to.
can actually go out into the world and help people and say, hey, do you want to do their inner work? Like,
Absolutely.
Molly want to like be yourself?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How can I
We
tell
have
you
to.
like, mhm. How can
We
I
can't.
tell you like, oh, do you want to learn yourself if I don't know myself?
Exactly. I
Mhm.
remember a period of time where I was so broken and I've told this story before, but where like I had lost the ability to smile. I couldn't even smile anymore. I was so broken, and so down many, many moons ago.
Right.
And I look back at pictures and I remember that. And then when I did start doing that inner work and work on myself and healing, as painful and excruciating as it is, I one of the things I'll always remember is like first starting to smile again, that freedom, and my cheek muscles like shaking because I
Mhm.
hadn't smiled for so long.
Right.
Yeah, but it is doable. But people are so used to hearing what they are not capable of and being battered and bruised. That goes to when you do the inner work and you realize that anybody is capable of it and you find yourself again, like we have to understand that people are so used to being hurt or not. I've said I love you to people, like even on the channel, like you are loved. People are used to not hearing that I've gotten yelled
Yeah,
at.
make it a conscious
I've
practice.
gotten
No, I tell everyone I love you.
I know I've gotten yelled at the audacity for you to say that I'm loved. Well, yeah, you are. I love my intro, I love me. I know that you, who you are. You actually are love and you are loved. And I know this no matter what you're going through. And maybe you're not used to hearing that because this particular journey that you're on, you have gone through this. And I understand that. But that's staying in our true selves, our authentic selves, removing the mask, being vulnerable and saying, no, you are loved
You are. Mhm.
and you are capable of feeling it
Because
again.
I know if I know nothing else in this life, the one thing that I know is that I am loved.
Mhm.
If I know you can
But
take
can you
every
imagine?
other faculty away from me, I know that.
But when you go through so much pain and
Mhm.
people are like beating you down, you're like, well, I don't feel that way. And
Mhm.
so, and that's where the
And I've been
embodiment,
there. I have been
right?
there.
Right, exactly. And and that's what's so beautiful because
Mhm.
you can
And I
now
think like, and I think sometimes I like, I have to be, what's the word? I have to be, sometimes I have to remind myself, like, in order to wear all those masks, I had to swallow a lot of, sometimes you gotta swallow a lot of stuff to put those masks on and go out in
Mhm.
the world and be a puppet on that stage.
Yeah, yep. That's why I'm being, yeah. What was I gonna say?
Not easy. And it's not, man,
Remember,
even to just say the pain,
pain into power, pain
which
into
is why
purpose.
I believe in transmutation so much.
Oh, huge.
Because I cannot, one thing I cannot allow myself, and this is just for me, right? Because there was a time in my life when gosh, there, I've been through times in life when there was nothing more that I wish than for, I used to beg God. I'm like, please
Oh,
take me today.
I've
Take me to
been
the
there.
king, take me to the cross. I used to pray when I was young. Oh my God, that teenage,
Right.
early adolescence, man. Bless her heart. Literally bless her heart. I could just cry. The way that I used to not want to be on this plane, I used to beg, like, is it gonna be today? And I look at all that she was going through. And if I'm being honest, I've had other times in life when I felt that way. But one thing, I always had something, I always had that I wanted to be a doctor, right? So that was always in the back of my mind. That was always like the
Right.
kind of like, I guess, the training that kept me on the track that kept my train on it, right? It was always like that blueprint path to get me through that, right? And so sometimes, although I no longer identify with like that being my purpose, right? I had to understand that that was a part of the plan to keep me
Absolutely.
going. Um, but what I've learned since then is that I can, I still identify with that pain, and I have to because the more, like, as I identify with that pain, I think that's where the shadow work part comes, right?
Mhm.
Because it allows me to realize, like, I still have work to do. I still have stuff I have to get through. I still have, because if I'm being honest, as I go through therapy and I talk and more, I'm like unearthing more stuff. And so sometimes stuff comes up that I don't even remember. And it
Mhm.
takes me back to that place. And then I have the choice. I'm like, can I wallow in that pain or can I take all of that pain
Mhm.
and put it into the fire to give me this energy to do whatever it is that I need
Absolutely.
to do, right?
Absolutely.
Um, and so I take it and I take it all in. And my dad used to say this thing. He used to love a bonfire for Christmas. And he used to call me and be like, baby, we're building a fire. And I got to take all that stuff and I got to build a fire, honestly.
Yeah.
We got to just put little things in there one by one and just let them burn, honestly.
Right.
And take those ashes and wash off in it. And just like I do with my sage and my Palo Santo. Right,
Load into the
right. It's all like a part of,
love
it's all a
you.
part of the process. Yeah, I love you. Yeah.
Love you, but goodbye.
Mhm. And sometimes, like that pain is the energy that we need to get going. Sometimes that
Oh,
pain is the energy
absolutely.
that we need to keep us going.
Well, that's where we grow, is in the discomfort, in the
Yeah.
pain. Opens
Hmm.
our eyes wide up, wide
Hmm.
open.
If I'm being honest, the pain now that I experience different? Probably not. But the lens that I view it in is a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that all of the pain that I go through is actually for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Oh,
for my
right.
my growth and ongoing development, which I'll be doing for the rest of the time I'm here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So for anyone who does hear this, it's like don't give up. I actually implore people to figure out that pain and identify that pain and figure out ways to use that pain to become the real you. Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The fuel that you
If you
need.
go back, if you go, and a lot of what I've had to do is I had to go back into situations and say, like, one, I can't change the past. What's happened has happened.
Mhm.
What is the lesson that I need to learn? It always goes back to the same thing we talk about
What's
every
the
time.
lesson?
What's the wisdom? I take that wisdom, pull it out, I write it in my journal, and I kind of write it like a mind map, and I pull that little bit of wisdom out, and I'm like, I learned that. What's funny is sometimes I remember I used to see stuff on like Roseanne or there's even a show called Blossom. I was like looking that up the other day and I'd be like, oh, I remember that episode and I felt like this. And so I'm like going online and trying to like look up the episodes to see if I could remember what I felt like when I was a kid, when I watched like certain episodes, like dinosaurs. It's all these random things when
That's
I
a
have
good,
the memory and I'm like, I was doing this
brilliant
or I
idea.
was this. And so I go back and I'm like, what's the wisdom? What can I take out of this? How can I use all this, put my little battery packs together and go? Because it's obviously not my time. I'm still here. So all I can do is take it and transform it.
That's right.
Hmm.
Going back to you being a doctor, whether you're not doing it now, but you're saying it was a part of your path at the time for the wisdom. We're going to experience that. People may not understand, well, why am I working here? Or why am I studying this? Or why am I doing this? It's a part of the journey that they're going to be able to incorporate and use on their path. There are things that I did many, many years ago, or, that I learned. Maybe it's not so much a part of my path anymore. I'm integrating it or I'm expanding on it. I'm making it the Molly way of what aligns for me now at this part in my life, or I've taken the things that I've learned or knowledge and I can use the parts that I want. Um, but there's always a reason and a purpose. It's part of that journey.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And that's to sum it all up. That's why I love people. That's why I love working with people. That's why every day I go out into the world and I see a person, I smile and I say, I love you, and all of the things, because I think if it weren't for other people, I wouldn't have any of these lessons to learn. Because if it was just me here, it'd just be here.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful and
We're
thankful
going to
for
learn.
every single person.
We're going to learn from every person we encounter. Every.
Especially if they trigger you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they trigger you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they make you go back and think, why do I feel that way?
Right.
And then, but you know what I've realized lately? Is this me or is this a projection?
That's huge.
Is this me or is it projection? Because just because I feel that's intuition, it's not always like, oh, this is
Especially
you.
being an empath.
Hmm. Hmm. And if I could give anything out into the world, it'd be that. It'd be like, I'm sitting here talking,
Absolutely.
like I'm talking so fast. It'd be like, it, it is literally,
Is it you?
let's get you grounded into you to get all those intuitive senses going, get those fire senses tingling, because you will
Happy
feel.
senses.
Yeah.
No, but that's so true because, well, I want people to understand that number one, because this is coming through, no one's broken. We're not broken. We're nothing to be fixed. We're here to um, remember who we are and the potential, the ability, the
Mhm.
beauty, and the love that we are. And having to discern what is our energy versus projection, because not everybody is going to like that authentic self. Not everybody is going to like the mask coming off to where you're not the puppet anymore, and there may be projection coming in. And so once you start to be more vulnerable, spiritually aligned, or realizing your gifts because you're empathic or whatever it is, or we are energy, we are going to absorb or feel energy. Yeah, is it you? Are those really your emotions? And that's why investigation is huge.
Mhm.
Or, and not taking on that energy too. It's like, is this me? Like, what's going on? Or is it projection? And we don't have to take on that energy if we don't want to.
And it's good because you have, and that's the important, it goes all the way back to going inward.
Mhm.
Before you even, literally, before you even do that process of, is this me? Go in, integrate, ground, and then look at the energy.
Absolutely.
Don't look at that energy from a sense of like, "Da, da, da." No, calm yourself,
Yeah,
get back in,
absolutely. Be at
go
peace.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then look at the energy.
Yeah.
Sometimes like now I've looked at conversations differently. I've looked at
Mm-hmm.
when you're in an emotional state, nothing that I tell you is going to click. If I'm in an emotional state, nothing that you tell me is going to click.
Sure.
So let's like calm it down and
Right.
we'll come back to it when our emotions are tempered and we can actually have a meeting of the minds. But if you're in your emotions and I'm in my emotions and you're throwing up
Responding
this,
rather than reacting. Yeah.
yeah.
Not letting the emotions rule.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
I was looking this up. It's called Even When You Say We're Not Broken. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I saw it online. It's this Japanese art of repairing broken plates and pottery. It's called kintsugi, and it means golden joinery. And so basically, like let's say in Japan, like if a bowl breaks, they'll like mix this kind of like golden I don't know if it's like epoxy or lacquer or whatever, and they'll mix it. And so they'll like put the bowl back together with the gold. Um, so where I don't know if you can see it, but you almost
Oh,
like you
I
still
can see it.
feel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah, yeah. And so even when people come to me and they say that they are broken, I'm like, well, let's put you back together,
Yeah. Yep.
right? We're gonna
It's
turn
all
some
that
lead into
beautiful
gold
gold.
here. We're gonna turn some lead into gold. Let's
That's right.
put that energy to work for
Yep.
you and put you back together.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. It's in the cracks, it's in the brokenness when you can allow that light to come in.
Mhm.
Our scars and our cracks and everything are so beautiful.
Mhm. They
It shows
are.
our journey.
They are. They are indeed.
Shows our journey.
They are indeed. And a lot of times we won't ever see them, but a lot of times you hear them and you feel them.
Yeah.
And so you know that they're there. We
right?
all have
We
them,
all
right?
have them.
None of us are void of them. And because it shows up in so many different ways.
Yeah,
And I think it's good to one way that I feel like it allows me to show up in the world, like kind of stay inward or stay within myself, but still interact with the world. And it's just understanding that each day I walk out into the world, like every person
that's
is a
true.
person.
That's right. Everybody
Like every
has,
person has a scar, every person has a wound, every
they do.
person has, we all have something.
Mm-hmm. It's very true. It gives us the ability to have more empathy and compassion too when we look at it like that. Absolutely. I really feel that way.
Mhm.
Now, doesn't mean that we don't set boundaries because sometimes people,
Have
um,
to.
you have to, yeah, but if you can look at it like that, we've all been through something. Um, yeah, absolutely. That's huge.
Because a lot of times the boundaries are not for the person, they're for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're making that boundary for you
Mm-hmm.
because you have to be true and authentic to yourself. And I think that as you
Yeah,
integrate and you go out into the world and you say, you know what, I don't have to wear my mask today, you may have to go out with a boundary in order to not have to wear your mask today.
absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? It's like it's
Absolutely.
necessary. The
Mhm.
protection is necessary,
Yeah, that's our
right?
shadow. We all have a shadow. That's our shadow side. It's the protector. It's the warrior spirit. And so, unless you have that, people could harm the vulnerable,
And
mask-free child.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's why that's important to have that balance.
Mhm.
And it's also for us to stay in alignment.
Which is necessary.
Absolutely. If something does not feel right, then once again, we're speaking that and it's for us, like we're giving it back to self, right? To stay in that alignment.
And that's why when I tell you, some things I tell you, I'm like, I tell you this because I'm gonna at a time need you to tell me this.
And I'll tell you,
So I need, as much as I want to encourage you to enforce your boundaries, like I need you to also tell me, like, hey, Vanessa,
I love that. Yeah. Boundaries are crucial,
hold the boundary.
very
Or
important.
whatever it is, whether it's a boundary, whatever it is, it's like, and I think that is the value of reciprocity,
Absolutely.
right? It's like you have to give a little to get a little.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that doesn't mean like I'm gonna spend $1, you spend $1, I spend $1. No,
Mm-mm.
that's not it. That's a whole different type of energy. But I think true reciprocity comes from understanding like you're a person, I'm a person.
Mm-hmm.
I trust myself enough to tell you, hey, I'm gonna need you to tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's powerful though, though.
I know that you're gonna tell me, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a different type of trust. But it
Mm-hmm.
also is enough a different type of trust to tell you this is a place where I know I'm vulnerable. Can you help me in that space?
That's beautiful though. That's
Hmm.
beautiful. See, that's taking off the mask too.
Hmm.
Being able to say that, to share that in vulnerability, trusting self, trusting me, trusting your guides, everybody, you know? And I think that's wonderful. Yeah.
Because I've seen people in the most vulnerable times
Yeah.
of their life,
Right.
um, which is also why I take so very little for granted. I've seen people in literally the most vulnerable times in their life. And I think that when people are going through things that are vulnerable in their vulnerable headspace, wherever they are, and
Right.
that shows up, because we don't know where it's going to show up, right? But wherever we are and it shows up, being able to turn around and look back and see a person who can actually see that, support that, and not extort that
Absolutely.
is like extremely powerful. It actually gives me more faith in humanity.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Because there are a lot of people that will extort it. No, we want to help. And I feel like
Sometimes even just being present.
I know. See, I'm such a giver. And that's where my boundaries come in because if I could give, well, as when we talked about being a projector, I don't have the energy. I don't have it, but I
But
do
almost,
my best. And
so
I would love,
how did you come to the conclusion that you don't have the energy? How
what?
many lessons? How did you come
How
to
did
the
I?
conclusion? Yeah,
Oh gosh.
I know. I know. Don't say less. Say
Because
less.
because I could feel it. I could feel my energy. I would give and give and give and work and work and work and just pour. And then it got to a point where I was just so tired. I got so depleted, so tired, and I couldn't give what I wanted to give. And then I couldn't even give to myself. And I was like, what? I have to turn this around. I have to give to myself first. I have to take care of myself. I can only
But
give
not
what I
that you can give, but because that is necessary first.
absolutely, just like the airplane, the mask coming down. I can't help you if I can't help myself. We have to understand that we have to give from the overflow. But when we give from that, I'm going to add some, when we give from that overflow of that high vibrational, pure, loving energy,
Right.
it is so much more powerful than of depleted, drained energy. At least it is for me on my journey. So when I give back to myself, which I love doing, that's why I was talking about that bath. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited. Oh, I'm doing that.
I was in Mexico and I was literally taking like 2 baths a day. It was just a huge tub. And I
Oh,
said,
amazing.
I like, when you're young, you think you want all these things. I'm like, I just want a bathtub.
I just,
I just
no,
want a bathtub.
stop. When I was looking to move, I was like, they're like, well, what are you looking for? And I'm like, do you have a bathtub?
Yeah.
Like, I just, I just need a bathtub. But if people understood that's not selfish, because you giving back to yourself, doing that, taking good care of yourself, really benefits not just you, but other people. It is this reciprocation.
Because something as simple as a bath, you would get this, right? But something as simple as a bath for me is almost like the highest expression of myself as a person. One, I love the water.
Mm-hmm.
Like I download in the water. But two, I'm making like a bath. Like I have my salts and my herbs and like
Oh,
I'm doing
yeah.
all my stuff. And I'm like, well, what do I want to feel today? And what do I want to feel today? And it's like
Yes.
you're literally submerged. It is
Yeah.
like almost like going back and being in that placenta. And I'm like, I'm here again. Like I'm home in a way, on like a very deep level. It's almost like that again. Not placenta, um, amniotic fluid. It's like getting
The
back in
womb,
amniotic
yeah.
fluid. Right.
Yeah.
It's almost indicative of that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man,
That's
it,
right.
gosh, that just hit me in like a way that was, it just all came to me. But that is like me
Such a
feeling
nurturing,
embodied
loving
who I am. Yeah.
space
Hmm.
of care and I'm getting the coddling energy, like just the nurturing, hugging, loving,
But it's also purifying and it's detox.
purifying, cleansing, and like on so many levels.
And then I shower after and I step out and then I'm peaceful and I'm calm and I'm like, man, I'm like, it's like literally going back into the womb, going home. I think it's all about it. Just all
It's
signifies like
going, it
going home.
is.
Mhm.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
I have
But
that
if
love.
yeah, but realize like, and then it's also how you realize, you ask that question, how did I realize? Well, listening to the body, coming back to self.
Right? I know. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, oh my
Yeah.
God. When I was in medicine, Molly, one time when I was in medical school, I probably had IBS, right? Or in grad school, early in grad school, I got IBS. And then I really had to work on like
Exactly.
my output as far as like studying. And so I was so thankful for that year of grad school because it was just like pure chaos. But basically, like I stopped studying and I was still passing my tests. And I was like, oh, don't need to do this. Don't need to do this again. Don't need to be sitting here wasting my time reading books that I already know. I could just be like truly embodying like my true self. So that changed my life dramatically. So I wasn't really in that like give energy. And I don't think I was like that for a long time because even in residency, I wasn't in that like give energy. I was also on my Jupiter line, so that was just a different time in life. But when I started practice, right, and I was like over giving, I'm like staying at work late and seeing
Huge.
people, I'm like seeing 32 to 34 people a day. I started getting migraines, but
Mhm.
it would like these like hemiplegic migraines where like half of my face is paralyzed. And so like I can't smile on this, but it's a migraine. Oh my gosh. I had never had migraines before. It even reframed me being a doctor, looking at people who were telling me they had migraines. I now had a level of empathy that I'd never had before because I
Mhm.
started,
Mhm.
I was like, what is going on
Right.
with my body? Like migraine, cystic acne, all these things. I'm like, I don't even get like I get eczema. That's like my normal thing. I get eczema and allergies, even. And I'm not even like I had that, but now this is like things compounding and compounding and compounding. And at a certain point, I'm like, when is this going to be enough? And I had an incident happen with a patient where I no longer felt safe at work. And then I started getting like anxiety and almost like panic attacks when I go back to work because I was like so terrified because I didn't feel safe. And I was like, as a person who takes care of people, I'm like looking at myself and I'm like, what am I doing? And then I had an accident, had a concussion, and that kind of like took me out of the space for a while. And it took a while to like really realize like, oh, I'm doing this to myself.
Right. Exactly. No, exactly.
Oh, this is all like self-inflicted harm.
That exactly. Because
Mhm. Because not only was my work like where I give, but it's also where I hide.
right. That's that it, and I mean not exactly, but it was similar to what was happening to me. Like I wasn't listening. I was over giving over so much, not as a doctor, but in my life, in my old
Yeah,
timeline. I was
mm-hmm.
cystic acne, losing my hair,
Hmm.
throwing up blood, tremors. I could not eat. They were doing like endoscopies, colonoscopies, like
Well, I used to get
couldn't hear.
gastritis so bad. Yeah.
They couldn't, but they couldn't put their finger on anything. They wanted to put tubes in my ears because I couldn't hear and I was having sinus issues. I was getting, oh my gosh. Then I was in my car accident. I was not healing from, different infections that I would just randomly get. It was like because I was not taking care of myself.
I
It's
was
all,
like, I've had enough.
yeah.
And if you don't get it, I'll
You have
choke
to
it.
listen. Yeah, you have to listen. And there's no amount of what I did that I overgave and I tried to make everyone happy. Instead, it was killing me. And it didn't make a difference because that wasn't a part of it was a part of my journey then, but I wasn't supposed to be there anymore. It was over.
What's really eye-opening is that when I wasn't pregnant, that was all I saw every day, all day was like that.
Yeah,
All I saw was that people coming to see me for this very thing, just in different forms, different diseases, different processes,
right.
different.
And what's amazing is when you remove yourself from that, or you start healing and giving back to yourself and connecting back to who you are, you doing the work, as painful as it is, it's better than being sick or going through that. And as long as you don't give up, you can change. You can heal things. You will evolve. I love that one of the podcasts we did. It was like the power to heal yourself.
Yeah.
Was that the first,
Okay.
not the
Yeah. That's
first one, but like
the
the most,
second one. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, because we've done several, but recently. I
Mhm.
think it was like was it the, I don't know, couple. Which one was
It
it?
was the first one of this year. So
Was
the
it the
December,
first one of this
yeah, it
year?
was the first one of this
Okay.
year, yeah.
Okay.
Which
So
was our second.
I would love people to watch that one. I think it was, yeah, it'll be really helpful to people. So we do have the ability to heal ourselves, but we have to listen to our bodies. So now, like if I start to feel that way, Vanessa, and I start to feel depleted, I'm like, oh no, 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 no. And that's why boundaries are good. It's for us.
It's
Okay.
really for you. But I know that it's when you're a people pleaser, when you're a overgiver,
Mm-hmm.
which takes me to my next point. Once I had a concussion, I was out of work for like, I don't know, 4 or 6 months, and then I went back. And then I was working part-time, and then even part-time was like still too much. And I think I cut back on my hours again. And then I didn't feel like I had enough support. And then I realized I was like, I talk about a realization. The way that I've allowed myself to be in this world and wear these masks, I can no longer do that.
Totally. Wow.
Like I can no longer do my job as a actual practicing physician, upholding the boundaries that I have to have for myself. Not in that space. Can it be done? Sure, probably, but not in that space. Not in the
Yeah.
space when it's like I need you to see 35 patients a day and for 20
Mm-hmm.
minutes and
Mm-hmm.
with very little support and you're responsible for this. And I'm a projector.
Mm-hmm.
That's not even in my design to do that, but I did it for as long as I
That's
could and I
right.
loved it. I loved it when I did. I actually loved every minute of it. It was highs and lows, but that comes with everything in
Of
life.
course.
But I had to realize that how the career that I had built for myself was built on a faulty foundation with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of asks.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I started re-identifying with like who I was, what I wanted, what my boundaries were, if I used to see 35 patients a day, you're not going to want to see me when I tell you like I can see 16. Like you're not trying to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Go see 16 somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then I had to resign from my job because I was like, I cannot do this. And then at the time, I wanted to start my apothecary and I was doing all this work. And I also realized that was not it either. Because it was the same work. It was just a different, I thought it was because I thought, oh, I love this so much. But then it's also a very giving. I'm making products, I'm shipping orders, I'm doing. And I'm not necessarily realizing that I'm not always meant to be. That's hard. It's hard to come to grasp with the sense of like, I'm not supposed to always be the one doing.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that from a chronic doer.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yep. Everybody has their thing. Everybody has their vice. Mine is like overdoing and overgiving.
Right. There has to be a balance. Have to find that balance.
Yeah. And I remember the guilt I felt for that. Man, like the guilt, the heaviness, the weight of it all, realizing like I've built this career and I wake up every morning and I don't identify with it. I had to walk away from something that I spent my entire life to build, but I also had to see the value in that.
Yep.
Because that was also part of my path. Like that was when I say that was where I hid and I escaped, that was literally where I hid. When I went to school, everybody, there's that movie, The Secret Garden. Like school was my
Oh
secret
my
garden.
gosh, I remember that movie. Oh, I want to write that down. I don't want to forget it.
Mhm,
Because I used to love that.
mhm.
The Secret
I
Garden.
used to
Everybody
go there,
came through for a
I used to
reason.
go there to hide. I watched Matilda the other day,
Oh
rewatched
my
it for
gosh.
the first time in so long, and I cried the whole time. Like I literally cried the whole time watching it. Because I remember when I was a girl and watching it had just come out that and Matilda and Madeline. Those, oh God, and Harriet the
Mhm.
Spy. Those were like my movies back in the day. And I hid in that schoolhouse. It's the only place in life
Right.
which is weird because I just told you earlier, I felt so uncomfortable. It was so uncomfortable. Yet it was the only place I ever felt like truly safe. In the most discomfort, it was the only place I ever felt.
Isn't that interesting? And that is so interesting. Some people feel like that is the safest place, is in the discomfort or the dysfunction.
Mhm.
The
Because you have to
one-
pick. It's going to be discomfort or dysfunction. Catch that.
I like that. I like
Catch
that.
that.
I like
Mhm.
discomfort versus dysfunction
You know
because
why? Because when I was at school, all this discomfort, it was just me. Like I was in my own world.
right.
It was just me.
I
And then I switched to another school where there were other kids that who were like me. And that was it was also necessary because even on a deeper level, even when because man, you really look at like, man, I was so blessed. So blessed. From ages like 0 to 7, our subconscious is like completely open. So we're like all of what we're getting is like downloading, right? And then from 8 to 13, you go through like another transformation. And from 13 beyond, like it's all that's there is grounded. So from age 0 to 7, I would have been from like, I would have gotten to like second grade. So in third grade, actually, probably around the time I turned 8, I actually switched to a different school. So all of that time that I got to just sit on the computer and just like literally download encyclopedias and like all of that knowledge and just read books to no avail. I did that the entire time from when I was like 0 to 7.
That's so cool. Yeah.
And sometimes if I have to look at it, I'm like, yeah, it was uncomfortable, but I now have a massive amount of information downloaded that I can utilize at any given time.
Right.
And then when I probably turned 8, I switched to another school. And then I was like with my friends. And then I had other friends who were just like me. It was different because I then had structure. So I'd been by myself and I'd been alone and I'd been experiencing school in my own way. And now, what do you mean I can't talk? Or what do you mean I can't like leave? Or what do you mean? Right? What is this? The structure. So then I started getting in trouble. I would get paddled. It was like a whole thing. Then I thought I was bad. I was a problem. All of that programming happened. But then I started creative writing. And so I was like, oh, and I would read. And I even thought about this the other day. I used to like for an hour, you could like work in the library or something during the day. And or like before school and after school, you could like work in the library. And I remember I used to read so much that I would get whatever regular book I would have. And then I would go to like work in the library after school and I would steal another book. And then I would bring it back in the morning when I would go to work in the library. So like nobody would realize that it was like stolen. So I'd go home with 2 books. I'd like read my books the whole night. Like I would literally stay in it was literally like Matilda,
Mhm.
I would stay in a book to just stay in my own little
Right.
world that I had like
You still
created
love
for
reading.
myself. Yeah. And then I got to high school. No, that was in middle school. And I talk about the 13 and beyond, right? Because when I went to middle school, it was also a different type of environment where there was really no schoolwork to be done, but I had nowhere to go hide, and it was a lot of bullying and a lot of picking on whatever. But I was already so cemented in who I was, like all of that just like flew off
Right.
my back. So I was then again in my own world, very alone, but by that time I had built like a thicker skin to just handle whatever was going on around me. Um, And so even in that discomfort, I got to learn myself so well. So now as I'm integrating back to that self, a lot of the work that I do is just going back to those places. So sometimes I'll like read the books I used to read, or I'll, like I said
Mhm.
earlier, I'll watch the shows. I integrate all of that to see, I think all of that is like,
A
it's
part
just
of it.
constant. It's part of it.
That's
It's like
actually a brilliant idea because the stuff that I read now that I've been reading would be so different, but I wonder if I
Mhm.
went back and read
Would
how
it
it
be?
would tie in or how would I see it?
Mhm.
Wow. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like going back and finding the old things that we wrote.
Yeah,
or
similar,
old
very similar.
channelings,
Yeah.
old divination, same thing,
Mhm.
because it's still the information and the knowledge that was supposed to be downloaded at that time.
Right.
Absolutely. So,
And I think in this time, integration is going to be really important, but I think identity is going to outshine everything in this time that we're moving into, like in this new year. I think,
our
yeah.
finding out who we are and our, I don't even know how to describe that so much, but like our authentic selves and our identity, not what people see us as our identity,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, just truly you're
Just
like
us. Like
inward.
our authenticity is so huge that for people, I'm hoping that they will choose that rather than what I think that's what I'm trying to say, rather than what people that they've grown up with or oh my gosh, I thought about that the other day.
Mhm.
I can only imagine like people. I don't know if they're aware of me now because I don't talk to anybody barely, but I mean I'm sure there are some, but like people who saw me as a child or growing up or who I was as a teenager and even as a young adult, like, it's not who society or who you grew up with, who you think you should be because of them. No, like you're actual who you are to the core. That is what is so important now as we move forward from
I
this
think I
moment.
wrote that in my meditation today.
Did you?
Yeah, it was about moving forward and oh, this is about boundaries. When we move forward in life and choosing what we're going to let in, if our actual identity is going to allow it in or not, like our true authentic identity, is that going to let
Right,
things in? And then I wrote something else along the lines
right.
of
I get that.
where is it? I literally just saw it, but it was basically about not allowing, oh, if you need to be validated from an outside source, or if
Mm-mm.
you're incorporating information from the outside source, that's like a different integration.
Mm-hmm.
That's more, I don't know a word to describe it, but it's like really just incorporating the information that comes from you when you go inward and you do
Mm-hmm.
whatever that process is, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
in place to really gather that information as it relates to you.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
you realize that as it relates to you is from an outside source, then that means go back within
Mm-hmm.
and continue that process until
Mm-hmm.
really what you have fine-tuned is like, this is me,
Yeah.
that's not me.
That's not, well, somebody is going to see something from their own lens. They don't really know you the way you know you and the way God knows you, and your spirit team, you know you.
A lot of times the lens is projection. They see you through the
Absolutely, it
lens of
is.
projection, right?
It's
Because
only a
you're a part of
projection.
their experience. In reality, that's what life is, right? We're all a part of
It's all
somebody's
a projection.
experience.
Yeah. And that's okay. And that's why we have to go inward and be like, wait a minute, is this really who I am? No, it's not really who you are. No. Yeah. So
Like living
are
for
you
that
gonna do another podcast with me, Vanessa?
course. Of course. Because now I look so forward to these conversations. Like there's
I
so much
know.
because it's just me and my notebook and I pull all my thoughts together. What I'll do is though, I may have a Molly notebook and have
Oh
one
my gosh.
specifically dedicated to what we talk about. Or like when I'm going through a lot of times, like once I'm done with a journal, I'll kind of pull out little nuggets and like write them on a sticky note, kind of like this. I'll write like the little nuggets on a sticky note, like in the
Yeah,
front. I may have to do that so that when they come to me, then I'll have more like pointers and things that I want to talk about without having to like sift through it all the time.
absolutely. That would
But
be
yeah,
amazing.
because
I
a lot
feel
of
so
things
special.
come to me now, and I think that even like having the space to share with you, some of my downloads could be specifically for this space. I don't know.
They could be.
I don't
Absolutely.
really put, I don't put again, it's like that like what you put on, what you project, right? I try not to project onto my downloads because I know that that is something that is completely external of me. And I don't always like to put my take or my spin. I just literally write it down
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
you share it, and then we can all take it how it feels right for us, which I think is beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing them,
Yeah.
which is awesome because that just shows how that's vulnerable. That's vulnerability.
Mhm.
And those are your downloads that you are sharing with this beautiful collective,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Vanessa.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm always welcome to come back in. You just let me know the time and the date.
I
As
will.
usual, yeah. And then it was something else that I wanted to tell you before we close. I just want to really thank you for the opportunity because this
You're
helps me
welcome.
in more ways than I think you even imagine.
Oh, you're
And
welcome.
being able to share with someone who I am aligned with at this point in my life means so, so very much to me. So a million thank yous to
Welcome.
you.
Oh, thank you, Vanessa. You're welcome. I'm grateful for you too. Thank you for that. That means
Yeah,
a lot to me.
you're welcome. You're
Oh.
welcome.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us this evening for Vanessa's podcast. We love you all. See, I'm saying it. We love you all.
You
Yeah,
love each and
we
every one.
love you. Yeah. And we pray that you're always surrounded by the Most High God's love, protection, and blessings. Bye, guys.
I walk with faith. You've never failed, not once before. Why would you now, my Lord? So I lay it all in open hands and follow where you stand. You're the breath inside my chest. I'll trust you with the rest. I walk with faith, not with fear. Every step